right one. I think I'm sharing the right one. Yes, hope so. Okay. So about reporting itself, module 11. So when we normally using report in Intune itself, one example is troubleshooting. For example, autopilot has failed, or maybe user enroll a mobile phone, then it run into issues. So that kind of troubleshooting scenarios, like you wanted to know how the update goes. Maybe some machine has update and it failed. Some applications, or maybe you are running proactive remediation script on the machines and maybe it failed. So troubleshooting scenario, that's something that we often use in reports. And other kind of report, like inventory reports, like you want to know if your machine is run out of disk space and run out of memories. And then other kind of report is for auditing, like something happened to your tenant. You want to know who did the change, or maybe, okay, not pointing fingers, not who, but what changed. That kind of scenarios. Or maybe you want it to be more proactive, like if something happened, then it will trigger some alert or maybe trigger some actions. That kind of scenario. So that's what we normally using report for. So Intune native report. In Intune, so I have two slides in here, but I would think I'm actually just going to the portal itself, show you around how the Intune native reporting, that's what we call. So for Intune, we always have this comment for Microsoft is that we think their reporting is really bad. I mean, they try to improve it for quite quite many years, but still it's really really bad. So, so first thing that for Windows side, for example, when we come to Windows side, we have this kind of monitor. So that's one of so-called reporting. It's kind of very confusing because in the very beginning, this is the place where we find so-called report, but the name is monitor. And this list has been changing a lot. So now it's 20 report. Last time when we have the class, it was less report. So at least this last two one here, iOS update installation failed, deprecated. macOS is also now deprecated. Instead of these two, now they have this Apple software update failure. So they have, and also one thing they also like to do is that sometimes the report is in this blade, like a monitor blade, and then sometimes they suddenly decide, hey, this is not a good place. I want to move that to somewhere else. Then they just move it to reporting blade. So you will find differences every time within a couple of months, you click around and you will find that maybe some of the report that you used to looking for, then they are gone. You just have to click around to find them. So it's kind of really troubling. I get it. So now for this one report, I go through something that I think that is worth to mention. For example, in here you have these not compliant devices or policy with not compliant error devices. These are the report that it has been here for a very long time. And what it only does, it just only telling you, okay, one machine not compliant. And what reason? I don't actually know because it doesn't really tell me. So it's not really useful at all. So these two one are, my opinion, it's useless in display. So it's like a totally nothing. And then this one also configuration policy assignment failure. It looks good, right? It tells me that I have some policies assigned in my environment, and it seems like that I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 policy that only have problem. Then you were thinking, great, yes, I only have 6 policy that has problem, and 2 of them are Android, and I don't care. So 3 of them are iOS. Also, I don't care because I'm Windows admin and I have only one policy that has problem. Perfect. That's what you thought. I will show you later what actually goes wrong after this. And what else is good? Something, okay, I not just the bad ones. Also, there's good ones, of course. Here has good one that I would think about is autopilot deployment status. So that's the only place you can have autopilot enrollment. information. But it used to, I don't have now many devices in display. It used to be device name is able to also sort, but now only enrollment date can be sorting, but nothing else can be sorting. So they kind of change a little bit. But this one, if you click on it, if it would be failed, you would actually see a little bit more details. It doesn't tell you why it failed, but it could be just tell you that it's in progress. But now in this, our demo tenant, I don't really have anything to show you because it was like a green. So that's one of the report that I might use during autopilot rollout. Then you might want to take a look at. What else we have? I don't think. Oh, device actions. This is one of them that people missed. So this kind of like an OD log that you knowing that someone triggers some action to some devices. So this one is a really simple one because if you go to OD log, it has a lot of other informations, not just device actions. So this one only pick out the device action that what admin has done to the machine. So this is one of the simple one that you can use that I think is kind of useful. And one report particularly I want to point out is really strange because it's not just a reporting, because if you consider reporting is something that you just only read, that's all you think. It's supposed to be like that. But then now we have this auto patch grow membership. It's look like a report, but you can actually do actions. Like I have an auto patch devices that is now not onboarded, then I could actually assign the range for this machine. So this is a one of these auto patch device assignment onboarding blade. It used to be somewhere else. So it used to be under auto patch blade, and it was suddenly gone. Me and Simon was looking for this blade, and we couldn't find it anywhere under auto patch. So at the end, somehow we just accidentally found that, oh, it's under reporting under this monitor. So this is one place you can find that. Another place, so this is about there's one more thing was also funky. Do I really see that? Incomplete user enrollment. Yes, so incomplete user enrollment. So you can see in here, starting in August, you won't able to view this report. And why is it here still then? So it's like a, that's why I said display, most of report are really useless. Example, this one, they can just totally remove it instead of showing this that this is no longer working. So why even showing? There's no point to showing, right? So this is one place. Another place you can sometimes find report is that if we go back here, go to the first one, overview, devices overview. Sometimes we were so hurried to go in every other places to looking for things, but the overview itself, it actually already has some place that you can go with report. For example, the auto patch one, the one that I was mentioning that we think is gone, you can actually just click it from here. That goes to the exact same place. So this is a bit easier to find where's your auto patch grow membership went. So it's from the just really the overview play, for example. So now if we go back to the report itself, another nice feature, what we were saying. Now I talk about compliance, the two useless report in the monitor. This one is way better. So this one is using the new reporting API. And in the report, it actually has report. I'm going to close up this one. So it actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It have 7 reports. This one is new. This one was not here before. So this one just comes in this place suddenly. Nevertheless, and we have another one is a attestation status is a preview, but then we have another one is under totally different blade. It's not logical, but that's how it is. Funny as it is. So device compliance, this one I think is really good one. So it actually has many details about what kind of setting, why they are not compliant. So you don't have to export Excel and things like that. You can just generate a report. Then you will be able to see in all the devices that is not compliant and why they are not compliant. So let me wait a little bit, see if we actually have anything. It takes some time. Yeah, so only one is my Android. Only thing it was not problem is that the default device compliance policy, and because the device itself is not active, so that's why it's not compliant. We, yeah. So normally, if you have a big environment, if you just only generate a report, it's going to take a really long time. Before you actually doing that, you should actually thinking that you might want it to choose the filter first. You should choose the filter first before you click this generate, because after you choose the generate, it will generate everything that was in the filter. And if you start out doing this filter by itself, it doesn't really do anything, because this is the filter before you click generate a report. So after the report is generated, there's no filters for that. That's how they think. I don't know who decide this, but that's how it is. Not really nice. I don't like it. But now go back to the other things. There's one device configuration. We also have report in this one. This one is a really good one. So let me generate that. I already did that before, so let's do it again. Now in monitor, remember I showed you before that Windows was showing only one policy that has problems. That's what it shows. Let's see, is it actually the truth? So now we actually seeing, let me see, device. This is one experience. Yeah, we have one more, that's Apple. Actually, this might be true on this method. So this one is kind of better because it actually have every other single settings catalogs. The other one, it didn't give me all the configuration I have. So this one, I would think is more better view, because then it will actually show you all the list, all you have in your environment, that how many devices is assist and how many devices have error message. So this one, I think I will give it a plus point that can be used. What else? We have Windows updates. I want to tell about this because last time when we were in MMS in this Nashville, Music City, so someone come telling that they have update issues, and how can they know what went wrong? How do they know how many devices is updated and how's the patching? So I realized that Microsoft built all kind of reports in the back end. They try to improve it. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But because in general, I mean, we don't always come to the portal to looking for what is new. That's why I feel that I kind of wanted to now this time, this class. Normally, we don't talk so much about the built-in reports. Normally, we jump straight to the custom report side. So this one, I really wanted to mention that, for example, Patching Tuesday, we do have a report from Microsoft, update distribution report. I mean, it doesn't name it as Patching Tuesday, but it is quality update distribution. So this one will actually tell you that each month patching. So this is out of band non-security updates, and how many devices is on this one. This one is the newest, so that is October month patching, and none of the device on this update. I don't know why our VMs are not patched. Now is a good question. Yeah. So this one's actually a good report. I kind of recommend you to take a look this one if you have not come to this place before. This is one good report. And also besides that, we also have like a feature update reports, other things like that. This is about it. And then we also have Defender antivirus report. This is something that I would think is also good to have to to know that you have this antivirus if you don't, as an Intune admin, if you don't have access to Defender security portal by yourself. So this is a good place to know how the antivirus like up to date in your environment if everything goes fine. Now I remember some other people also asking, how about OneDrive? How do I know OneDrive is updated? How do I know Office is updated? Let me show one thing. I think it's a config dot office.com. Sign in. Health, OneDrive. Yeah. So here, this one. So for OneDrive, for example, under config.office.com, you do have some report telling you that 75 devices don't have current version of OneDrive, and I don't know why. So this is our test environment. So we do have OneDrive is not up to date, which is not good. And then somewhere else, also inventory report that's related to Office, not direct to Windows, but related to Office. All kind of inventory, like you have all kind of build and what channel you have, how many devices and things like that. But our demo tenant is not the best place to show a report. We only have 3 or 5 devices, so it's not really showing much things. So that would be the place that you should be looking for. Jan, do you know, does the age have some sort of reporting somewhere, actually? It just come to my mind. I'm not sure about
Not on
age.
top of my head, no.
Yeah, not on top of my head either. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't have cloud update enabled either. So this is not the best place. But in some organization, it used to be an Intune admin who managing everything on the device, including Office and including Edge. But now Microsoft is actually pretty much start moving Edge and Office outside of Intune. So for Edge admin, so you could have an Edge admin that configure all kind of configuration for Edge. You can do Edge policies on the cloud and deploy to the machine, deploy to the users. You can also have an Office admin, like an Office team. They can also configure all kind of Office policies and Office updates and all kind of things in this config.office portal. So in some scenario, you might want to consider that do you want Intune admin continue doing the task for Edge and Office, or do you want it to scope this out to let the Edge admins and Office admins and configure whatever they want, and then they can also have the reporting by themselves? So that is some consideration you might need to think about. Another reporting, I would think also Teams updates. Teams update is something that the reporting is not Intune admin can be seeing. So that will be part of the Teams, from Teams admin portal. There you will be able to see how many Teams client you have, if they're up to date. Then they might get back to you and ask you why the Teams is not updated. So this is different scenario. So you
But
don't
it
get all
can
the
be
report
your
from Intune side.
and it can be your fault, Sandy, that Teams is not updating.
Yeah, it can be. Absolutely. It can be. I wouldn't know, but you have to prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then of course, what else we have in here? Yeah, so those are the built-in reports. So now the thing is, go back to the slides. So these are the built-in report that out of the box without you configure anything. So you don't need to do anything. You just need to have Intune license and you have the tenant. So all these report will be available. But of course, except the auto patch. Auto patch, you need to have license. But this, the built-in reports. But now what is something, there's some reported, you need to do configuration, some special ones, for example. So I already do this one. Windows update for business report. This is something that you need to configure. It does not come out of the box. So first thing, you need to configure for client data reporting. There's something, for example, driver updates. feature updates, and SPID updates. These three update reports, it require configuration. So it require Windows diagnostic data collection to be enabled in the device level. So the device need to agree that I send this information to Microsoft so that Microsoft can use this telemetry data to create a report for you. And then also in tenant level, you also need to enable this feature for Windows diagnostic. So I have this URL in the deck you can read about. So this is about the diagnostic data. So it's mentioned that these features are required to enable for the data category. So then you can use this report. So feature update, device readiness report, compatibility risk report, and driver update report. So these are the things that you will need. Place is easy. So you go to your tenant, go to tenant admin, connector and token. So there has a place that Windows data. So actually, if I go to the portal itself, then it will be under tenant admin. Then it will be under connector and token. Then it's under Windows data. So it will be this one. This is different. So this is something that for license verification that you are having license. So this is the one for enable required for this Windows diagnostic data in process configuration. So this is something that you will need to have if you want to get this report. No, wrong place. Yeah. And for the client itself, I mentioned the client itself, you need to allow telemetry data. You don't need to go any higher than basic. So basic is the one that you will minimally require to having this report, having this data sending to Microsoft. Basic is okay, but if you want, you can give more data. That's totally up to you. And then of course, network requirements. How this data can be sent to Microsoft, it requires network. So if those networks are blocked, then they won't be able to send anything. Yeah. So this is also something optional. You can limit. You can send limit dumb collections. Optional configurations. So this is the template that what I normally use. But it's totally up to you to choose what kind of things you want it to send. Yeah, so these are the basic information that how the diagnostic data process configuration. So it depends on which region you are in. So if it's in Europe, then because Europe have these privacy things, so that's why it will require you to configure the settings mode. But if you are in outside of Europe or EFTA, then if one of these product you are using, then you will be just good to go. So this have some more information about privacy that just I want to mention about. Yeah, same things. So there is some other report that does not require anything out of the box. So that will be Patch Tuesday reports. So that will be most of it without anything. So after you configure, so after an admin agree on the admin tenant level to sending diagnostic data, and also the client, you configure configuration on the client itself. Then the third thing you need to do is you need to have a subscription, which you need to have subscription. You need to have a log analytics workspace. And then you will be able to come to portal.azure.com. And then I will go to monitor and then go down to Insight Hub and scroll all the way down. Then you have this Windows Update for Business. So when you click on this, like in our demo tenant, we already onboarded this Windows Update for Business report. So that's why it will show up automatically because I have permission to this subscription, and also I have this workspace. So this is the place where the data sending in. So it's in a log analytics workspace. Then I will be able to see some Windows update related reports in this place. And also we have delivery optimization. So I hope you are actually using delivery optimization. So in our environment, a demo tenant, I was really surprised to say, hey, we are actually pretty good. We actually save some things, and we have a content distribution. We are actually using peers for 67%. But then, of course, the reason was that Jan has 4 VMs in the same Ethernet, right? So then his VMs are sharing content, and I have only one VM in this tenant. So these are all his sharing content to each other. So for your environment, if you come in, try to come in this report, you may not even see that. Then you might want to ask that your Azure admin to give you permission to all these subscriptions and give you permission to the workspace. Then you see if you can able to see this report. So I want to show how my test tenant looks like. You might actually seeing things like this, that when things actually goes wrong. So I have monitor, and I try go to the same place where I have now inside Hub. And I scroll down to Windows Update for Business. Yeah. So nothing and nothing. And today I was wondering what happened to my tenant? Why I'm not seeing anything? So the reason is I actually changed my subscription a couple months ago. So I used to have an old subscription that I onboarded my Windows Update for Business to that subscription and to the Log Analytics workspace. But then I killed the subscription completely and I replaced that with a new one. So which that everything was gone. So it's not here. So if I get started, then I actually will end up, it actually will tell me that this is my tenant ID. And that was the subscription that I used to have. And this is the workspace that I used to have. So looks like that, yeah, it says that it's configured. So in this case, Microsoft actually offer you a good thing that it tells you to unenrolled. So if I click this unenrolled, and I will be able to onboard that once again, then I will get this right. So it's now removed. So if I try to get started again, okay, yeah, still it's not yet. So I just probably have to wait. But let's not spend time on this one. I think it might take a little bit time for that enrolled the whole things, and then I can get back to my report for the next time. Do we have any questions at this time? No?
No, I think then this is
Okay.
a good time. This is another good time for a break.
Have a break? Yes.
And we will start again 5 past the hour. And then we will continue on this reporting journey until the next hour starts. So coffee time, absolutely. See you in 7 minutes. I am back.
You are back. I hope everyone is back. um, okay, we got some thumbs up. Yes. Yeah. Let me. Isn't my screen still sharing? No.
No.
Let me share the screen. Screen second. Yes. Now we are. So, one report was actually forgot to mention in the built-in. It was under reports. So yesterday we talked about mobile device management. So in the monitor blade, I mentioned there's 2 deprecated report. One is iOS and one is macOS. So now in reports, we actually have a new Apple updates. So back in May, when we were doing this class, this Apple update report, it was not here. So this is new. So if we go this one, so I'm actually now in my tenant. there's not much thing to see, but let me go back to the actual demo 当 and then what we actually have what we have this Apple from yesterday. So when we click on this, a really funky things display, when you come to display, you see that it's already start generating reports. This is the behavior that I don't like because many times I thought that when it's now generating a report, I want to go other play to generate other reports. At the same time, because I just like to multitasking and I don't want to spend my time sit here waiting. So problem with this is that if this generates so long, you go to other play and come back, it will trigger this generate again. So it's kind of like it will start from scratch to pulling the report from the cloud. So now here we see that we have iOS update summary. We have 2 up to date, and we have 3 not assigned, but they are not clickable. So it's I would say it's a really ugly looking report, in my opinion. It just I don't know how this is totally different looking than any other report. It's like a completely different style. So I don't much like this one. But if we go back to other reports, we click on this one. So this is a more standardized how it looks like. So it can actually pick up the report that what we generate today with Yarn together. So I like this one better, not the summarized. So this tells me that my iPhone that was yesterday showing, so it's now updated. Remember that we have the deadline that my phone's supposed to be updated in the morning. 10 o'clock, and I left 15 hours to update, so it's actually updated by itself. So it's now updated. And then this one, that's your iOS. You want to tell why it's not updated?
It's not managed. It's like the user enrolled one. So it's nothing. I decide when I update, and there is no policy requiring to be higher than 18. So that's why.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So it's depends on different enrollment type, management type that you are using. So you'll be able to see this phone, but then you won't able to controlling the updates. So that's why it shows like how it is. So this is one useful report that what we think that worth to show. And where's my deck? There.
Sandy, in this case,
Yes.
is there extra column saying that your device is MAM or MDM?
Extra columns. Let me see. Device IDs, latest available.
No.
No,
No.
no, it doesn't.
Oh,
Yeah,
crap.
into device ID. That's all it has in here. So if go here.
But MAM devices will not show in here. It's only MDM.
Oh, okay, only MDM. Okay.
Yes, but
Yeah, MAM
the
also,
lightsaber is user enrolled, if you remember from yesterday. So it's not device
it is.
device enrolled, it's user enrolled.
So it is MDM, but it's enrolled in different. It's user enrolled, that user that has more privacy and you have less control. That kind of enrollment type. So my
Because
phone it was enrolled with device enrolled.
if you don't set it up, you can spend a lot of times understanding why it's not updating.
Yes, exactly. Because this one does not tell you what is the enrollment type. Then you start
Okay.
wondering, oh, I need to troubleshoot why this is not updating. It's just because the enrollment type is different. That you were not supposed to managing this. Yeah. Good
Thanks.
question. The one slide we hide, where is it, Jan? It was before this. There's one funny thing we want to show. Come back, come back, come back, come back. It was before this one.
Yes.
So yeah. So our demo tenant is not really interesting to see, but this one is way more interesting to see. So then like you can see that Apple actually we have quite a lot of devices. That is kind of interesting seeing the install state, the prepared, and then install recent is auto update and prepared, and then this is a system setting. Then you can also see which phone is will be installed tonight, for example, and when is last it reported to this reporting service. So this one is way more interesting to know what's going on. Yeah, so take a look your environment and then see how it looks like. You always find some interesting stuff when we poking around. Okay, now let's go to auditing report. Of course, it's very important that we know what's going on in your tenant. So Intune has built-in reporting to tell you what's going on. So let me just going to show you portal instead of watching the deck. Under tenant administrator, then we also have this audit logs. So this is the place where you can find out what's going on in your tenant. It has quite a lot of information. It's not just only admin triggered information. It also has something else. I think there is but now we have only admin actions. Columns, of course, it has by default, everything is choose. So this is the thing that Microsoft offered to you by default. Now the dates, how long this auditing history goes. Anyone want to have a guess? I can't see the chat. When I'm sharing, I'm very difficult finding
30
information.
days
Anyone
is
want to write
there,
down?
there is a suggestion on
30
30
days?
days.
90 days? 180 days?
Yeah.
Ah.
700.
Oh, 700. Okay. Almost there. Dave, no. Okay, well, let's try that. How about like that? So let's do this. We are now in November 6th. Now let's go back. We go. Let's go. Let's do like this. 2022. Yeah, let's do like this. So we do applied. No. What did he say? What is saying? Yes, it said that you cannot have more than 2 years. So it's 2 years. Yeah. So the portal tell you is 2 years, but in Microsoft documentation is actually different. Microsoft documentation, I remember it was at some place was 30 days, in some place was 90 days. So that's why you are not wrong if you are reading the documentation. So documentation is actually have less days than what it actually is in the Intune portal itself. Yeah, as funny as it sounds. So let's go back this. So this is the admin report, but now, where I am, go back to admins and auditing. So this is the built-in. If this is enough for you, that's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with only using built-in reports, but for us, for example, I want to search. Sometimes it doesn't actually find the things that I'm looking for. Adding filter is also, they don't have everything that I'm looking for. So what we do in a global tenant, we have these diagnostic settings. This is typically first thing we do, whatever we are going to an Intune tenant, if it's possible, that we always create these Intune diagnostic settings. So edit the setting, you give it a name, then we need to send the logs to a subscription and with a log analytics workspace. So these two things, it needs to be pre-created beforehand. And if you don't have a permission to this kind of subscriptions and log analytics workspace, then you might need to request your Azure admin to create this for you. Then you will be able to send these logs to log analytics itself. And of course, we have also Windows 365 OD logs. So if you are using Windows 365, then you might also want to send this as well. So after this configured, then we are start getting logs for Intune. Now, where the logs is, so let me show you. If we go back, so when this is configured, and I will be able to go on the reports, actually, scroll down, then this is the same thing. So you can have in here, it's actually go to the same place where I just show you from tenant admin, or you can configure this from reporting blade. But in reporting blade, you will be then able to go to log analytics. Then you can able to just open it up. Let me close these things, then it can be bigger. So these are the default logs. So Intune have few logs. The Intune have the OD logs. So this is the one what we were talking about. If I double click that, Last hour, nothing happened. Let me go to 24 hours. So we do have some actions, right? So these were the actions that Jan did in the graph session. So he using the graph API call and he used the PowerShell and he created a filter and then he patched the filter where he changed the filter names and then he deleted the filter. So these are
Did I
something
though?
that we can actually.
Did I do it
Yes,
though?
you did. Oh yeah, let's see.
Did I do it though?
Uh, Let me see. Was it you? Actually, does it show? No, you using a app permission?
Maybe I
I
did.
don't find your name. Actor? That's application. No, yeah. So that is the thing. Yeah, okay. I can't prove you did. You will need to record it. That's exactly it. So now
I
we
did
go back to the
nothing.
point.
I did nothing. It's just the app.
Yeah, just the app. Exactly. So now we go back to that place where we have the discussion about dedicated permission and application permission. So when using dedicated permission that you need to authenticate. So like I need to authenticate with the dedicated permission that I am Sandy and I actually have this permission to do these kind of actions in the Graph API. But if you're using app permission, application permission with the client ID, client secret, then there's no really trace because it's the app itself doing this action. So you don't really know the who is actually using that. So it's really dangerous that when we talk about that, you should not have the app ID and the app secret in your script because if someone get hands of this app ID and secret, and you have too much permission granted to this application, then people can do really harm to your tenant. And there's no way you can find out who is the person behind that. So like this in case, like Yan said, well, it's not me. You don't have proof. Exactly. Then it's not proof because I only see this app, the one that Yan created. So this is the actor who actually doing this action and deleting the filters. It's not good, it's dangerous. Exactly. Now, for this one, it's really hard to just run a query to tell your manager that this happened because, well, these are just lines, right? So that's why we created a workbook. So that's why we collect this information into log analytics because we can using a workbook to create some really fancy reports based on the data we collected. So this one is the Intune audit dashboard that what we have. And then I can actually have all this information that what's going on. And if I go back to the admin actions, I guess. So this is admin user that what we
go,
are
Sandy, go to the top, check the time thing.
application.
Change the time range.
Yes.
Change it to
Go
last
to
30 days.
maybe 30
Yeah,
days. So
yeah,
many.
30. Yeah. You need to
30
have
days
some
you
more
want?
data.
Okay.
Yeah.
More data. Okay. Yeah. So yes, we see during the past few days we have been crazily doing stuff. Mostly it's Jan, I guess.
I
Yeah.
always do
So I have
most.
done this time. Yes, this time, yes. So I have done something, Jan have done something. So I will try pass you next time when we do that. So these are the admin actions. So this one we have better filters, like what kind of action that we actually doing, things like that. So now the application action, the one what we talk about, that if someone gain access to some app and it's the app doing actions and not a human, our report also will show that. So let's see. We have field. So we have this one. It's already showing up. And the action type exactly is telling that it's deleting filters and things like that. And we also have this click for details that it actually tell you what things it changed. So it will tell you the action, the operation name and its filter, the ID, platform, type. So it has way more information. It's probably the information are similar, but I would think our report is actually better than the Microsoft because we is a little bit better overview of everything. It's self-promote. Yeah, and what else we actually see? We also see Nick demo. Someone is doing Nick things, and what is this one? Primary user. Yes, we also have that. And if we are using Patch My PC, I think that we will actually also seeing Patch My PC app doing actions to
If any
updating
kind of
applications.
third-party integration you might
Yeah,
have that will use an
anything.
app, if it's a RoboPack or Patch My PC or Vcast, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
All of those
anything.
will need
Yes.
to integrate somehow.
Yeah.
So
So
you
you might
will
want
be
to take a
able,
look.
even if you go back and do like even more time, you will even find the actions done by Autopatch application. So if you go on you select the one on the bottom. Oh no, time range. You need to change the time range to select the custom one all the way down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
How far
you
we
don't have
go?
to
How
go
far?
that far back,
How?
Sandy.
Let's see.
It was
I just
there.
don't know how many data we actually have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Modern workplace
there we go.
management, right?
Yes.
And
So
here we
that is
can
the
see
path.
actions
That
that's
is
been
the.
done by the Autopatch service, deleting configuration policies, creating policies on your behalf. Just an
Yeah,
example
that's
of how you can monitor.
April.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the last change from their side was in April.
Yes. And then of course the one thing is that you see that we are going back in a really long periods. So for if as default, when someone create this log analytics workspace for you, by default it's only 30 days for the retention time. So if we are going to have this demo in here, the log analytics workspace, usage and estimate cost. So here is actually telling you how much cost to having the workspace to collecting information. So in this place, we have this data retention where we have the delays. Actually, this is different log. I think this is different. I think this is different space where we are using for diagnostics. Is it not? Reports. Diagnosis settings. Oh, we are sending to different log. So this is a different log place. But doesn't matter. So this is by default 30. So if you want more, then you can change that to max 730 days. Then you might want to change this. And of course, you can change this. This is in log analytics workspace, in the whole workspace level that you can change the data retention days. But of course, you can also do is that you come to the table itself. Then you can able to pick just maybe one of the table and you can manage the table and you can able to choose this per table level that how many retention date you want this table to have. For example, now this one I can have like a 2 years. I can also total retention that has a longer period of time as you wish. So here is about the OD log that what we think is kind of important to know in the reporting side. Let me go out of this. What else we are actually now? I think we are kind of okay with this workbook side things. Do you want to talk about the collecting custom datas?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Do you want to talk about that?
My voice is almost gone, but anyway, let me just get the deck up and running, and I will help you out on this one. Let me see if I can find my Zoom windows again, and I'll do like this. So sometimes we feel that it's not enough data available in Intune, so we want to collect more data. And let me, my God, so many windows suddenly are losing everything. And here, and of course this chat windows and everything is always in front of everything. Anyway, we want to have more data, and to do that, we might want to grab data, and we can grab data from different places. We can, for instance, we can grab data from Graph, and then send that data to Log Analytics to be able to look at the data in a different way, and maybe look at some of the attributes that's not like right there, and it's not available in the built-in reports. So the way we always do this is by using a log ingestion API. This is the different API, and the source here can be anything. So it can be a logic app, it can be Azure Function app, it can be a script that runs on an endpoint. But we need to have some authentication in place, and then we will send this data into this data ingestion pipeline that will send the data, in the other hand, into the Log Analytics workspace. There are some limitations on this when you work with this, is that you can't send two large of data blocks at the same time. Used to use a other API back in the days called the Data Collector API that allowed you to send 32 megabytes of data per call. The new API that we have to use forward is only allowing 1 megabyte. It's really important that we know the difference here, or else it's just going to fail. To do this, we need to have a couple of things in place. We need to have, at least we need to have a data collection rule, and we do need to have a Log Analytics workspace with a custom table. And of course, we need some source data. In some circumstances, we will also need a data collection endpoint. It's only needed if you manually create DCRs, the data collection rules, or if you use private links to control the data flow, the data traffic. So if you create a new DCR using the direct API method, we no longer need to have this DCR information. I think, weren't we supposed to click on that? No, that was not, that was later. Help me again, here we go. Yes. So the DCR easy. I'm not going to talk a lot about the DCE because we try to avoid using the DCE. What we do need, though, is to set up is the DCR. And there is a documentation here on Learn that is really good to look at. We don't have the time to go through every single detail here.
Yeah, because there's many steps, so we don't really want it to go through just by reading documentation. This one, we think that is actually really excellent written documentation by step that how you create this DCR and how you create this app registration and how you send the data in and what kind of script you're supposed to use, and it's all in this documentation.
Absolutely.
So these are all the menu steps that how you can understand how this whole concept it is. But then of course, in the Azure side, we normally tend not to do things manually step by step. It's not the best way, but it's the best way to learn, to understand each component that what you need to set up a solution. So when you understand it, how it works, the best way you actually deploy that is that using VS Code and using maybe Bicep, and then you can have just a one-click button, then you can deploy everything at once. So that's how the way that what we normally prefer to deploy a solution in customers tenant, not using step by step. But then for practicing how you understand how the whole concept works, then it would be the best way to follow this kind of UI in the Azure to do that step by step. So that's why we put this URL in here so that you can learn about that by yourself.
Yeah, we do have limited time here. So
yes,
that's why.
That's why.
And if you do move forward, though, there are some important things to know about the data. And typically, though, if we what we use this for is to run a script on the endpoint. So on the endpoint itself, like on your Windows clients, we run a script to collect extensive hardware inventory, for instance. And when we do that, it's important that we format the data the correct way. So the source needs to be in a JSON array format. It means we need to have the yellow ones here on top of the actual JSON table. So
how did we find out that this was important? It was because
it's
the
actually
mistake we
documented,
made.
Sandy. It's actually documented.
It is, but yes, but we didn't read
But-
that. The thing is, we didn't read that, and we was wondering why the data didn't send in, and then we realized
No.
that we were missing this bracket.
Yes, and actually you can be enabled the DCR error logs, and it actually told us in the error logs that your data doesn't have the correct array format. So we could actually
Yeah,
see that
so
in the
that's one-
logs, but there was no
Yes.
reply message to the API call that told us there was an issue. It just, we sent it
Yes.
into a black hole, basically.
Yeah, so
and
this
it's
is
also
something
important.
that very important to know the enable diagnostic log for this one, right?
Yeah, you can enable the error logging. It's at least in the
Yes.
start, right? So that you know that everything works. The other thing is that the DCR and the data must match. So the data collection rule itself needs to match the table in log analytics. And what we mean with that, I think it's might be actually easier if I show this. Okay. Seems like my session expired. Let me just show you an example here on data collection rules. I'm going to open up this this one, and here if I click on the JSON view, and then you can see here in this is the data collection rule. It contains information about some columns, and it's like managed device name, managed device ID, actually, and we go down here, we can find last boot, we can find information about TPM, and these are all columns in a table. So if you go, and this one, it's also referenced here. So they are also showing like this, but we can't really see what's going on here. Then you need to go back and do the JSON view. But then if you look at the actual, no, sorry. If you look at the actual table, which I think is this one, and here, if I go and open up this device inventory table and manage schema, we should see though it's the same. We have the same fields here, and this needs to match 100%. If this doesn't match, not only the names but also the data types needs to match. So if it's a datetime thing, it needs to be datetime in here, and it needs to be datetime in the DCR. So the DCR that I showed you is defining what comes in, but it also defines where you're sending it. So if you go back here, and it's easier to show it in here, if I scroll down, that was the wrong place. Sorry, here. And if I scroll down to the bottom, and then we can see though that we have the stream, and then we have destinations. This destination, this is the log analytics destination, the workspace ID. That's what we see here on the destinations. So when we do this, we can do some KQL transformation in here. It must match up in between them. So this custom table I talk about, it must exist before we can send data to it. So if you go into the table view, we can go in here on the table view and tables, and I can say create a new custom log direct. It used to be called before sending, it used to be DCR here. Now it says direct ingest.
Yeah.
And
not
here
different.
I can say it's my demo 001 and data collection rule. It's going to be this. And in this circumstance, you see when I do this manually, it requires me to have a data collection endpoint that is connected. But just for this demo, I can go forward, and now I can potentially, do I have a JSON file? Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't have that easily available. Let me see. Demos.
It's in the demo.
I have one
folder.
here, custom data. Here. So here's the custom data, JSON file I uploaded. And now it's going to just look at what I have here. And I'm creating this table containing this information from that JSON file. And that JSON file, it looked like this. So that's the JSON file I just uploaded. That being said, though, that will create this custom log, and it will also update the DCR. But this, you can only do this if you also use the DCE. If you want to do this without the data collection endpoint and use it the way it's supposed to be, you should definitely always deploy this using Bicep or Terraform or some ARM templates or something, because that's the recommended way to do this. If we need you have realized you have done something wrong, so like Oliver is asking here, are you able to add custom extra fields? So if I have this custom table, I can change the table. So I can go in here and I can change the table, not there. I can edit the schema, and then I can add a column. So I can add a column called via Monstra. I'm going to say, this is a dynamic Boolean datetime grid or so on and so forth. And right now I'm just going to say a string. And if I save this, then the table schema is updated. So, but now if I try to send the data into that custom table, it will not work. I'd also need to update the data collection rule to contain also that information. And that is something we can't do in the portal. That is something we need to do by code.
Jan, when you
Yes.
do the change, what's the predefined order you have to do? You have to add the custom and change the DC rule, or?
So the order is you need to change the source data, of course.
Okay.
Right. You need to send in a new column, a new data column. So typically, then you have your new column. Let's say you want to collect something new. We call a column via Monstra. It's a string. And then we change the data collection rule to understand that, hey, this new column is okay. And then we need to change the table itself to contain this new column. Because the column is not auto-created, the DCR is not auto-changed. You need to manually update all of these three items. You need to change the source data, you need to change the data collection rule, and you need to change the table.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And of course, and then again, authentication, as I said, the authentication happens at the DCR. And typically, though, we might want to use a managed identity here. And for instance, we use, when we send data from the endpoint, we typically will send this data through a function app. So from the endpoint itself, we have this function app here, and this function app will receive the data. There is code here that will take this data, it will authenticate and send this data into Log Analytics. This is semi-documented on our blog, but it's not using this new API though. So, but there are resources out there that talks about how to do this. I don't have that log in my mind, but I know there are samples out there that do this. And let's get back here. Where were we? Not here. We were here. So hardware inventory, PowerShell, and Azure Magic. If we can query information, we can construct arrays of information. And then we have arrays, we can post the information. So like Sandy showed earlier, having this, and I showed you as well, this device inventory is one of the use cases we use a lot. And the way we do this, and let's do a kind of a demo of how this will look. So we have this function app, okay? This function app, there are code in this function app that I'm not going to explain in detail because it's quite some code. But this code is doing stuff like authenticating, parsing the payload that's sent from the endpoint, and then we'll inject this data into Log Analytics on our behalf. This function app has a identity, has a system assigned managed identity. This system assigned managed identity is given, let me do it like this, is given access to the DCR. So if I now do DCR and go back to this DCR, and we look at the access control on the DCR itself, we can look here on role assignments, and we can do func. And then we can see here, though, that the function app I just showed you has the role of monitoring metrics publisher. And as I said in the deck, that is what is required to talk to the DCR to inject data into the Log Analytics workspace. So the permissions are here. In addition, though, this also have permissions to read data from graph to verify that the device it's coming from, the device we're sending data from, is coming from the correct tenant. And we are using something called, what is it called, Sandy? Do you remember? Azure AD device auth Nikolai. Let's see if we can find that.
Is it the first one?
Mm,
The first one there.
No, it's not the one. It's not the one. It's on.
But that's his GitHub.
Yeah, but it's not there. It's on the MS Endpoint Manager GitHub.
Oh, that's true.
Let me just tell you where you can find this. At least I can't actually find it right now.
I found it.
Here it is. Enter ID device trust. So this is what we're actually using, and let's just put that in here. So if you're interested, you can read about this here, how it works. It's very complicated, so I will definitely not be able to or have time to explain that. But the whole thing is based on we running here. We are running from this point a script on every endpoint using remediations. So let's go in here and look at scripts. And let's find this device inventory. And here we have the scripts. There's a script here. And this is the script that sends the data to the Log Analytics workspace. And here we can find the Azure function URL we're using for this scenario. And what we're doing then is that this is, of course, runs on a schedule, but let's, for the demo, sake of the demo, let's go into one of these. And at the same time, let me open up this log stream on the function app here. Let's make sure this is connected. Okay. And then let's hope the cloud works with me. I'm going to do here and I click run remediation. And then I'm going to do this one. You feel free to run it on another client at the same time, Sandy.
Okay.
And it's initiated. Let's go back here to the log, and hopefully we should see very soon that this is now getting a actual remediation run from that client. Typically, when you do run remediation on demand, it's really quick, but sometimes it actually do need though to connect to the endpoint. But here we go. It's actually now doing running that script on the endpoint, and here we can see that it's doing some validation. It says it has received the device inventory, and if you go down here, we can see that we have injected the log inventory into the log analytics workspace. And we have two of them. So if
Yeah,
I now
accidentally
go
another
back
one.
to the Intune logs here, in here, and look at the logs, and let's do last 30 minutes and do device inventory and run. At least one of them is here, and I want to do like local times. I know it's the correct one. But this was generated like 2 minutes ago, and we can then see that that's the one I run on, and I already have the data in here. So this is quite how this works, which we should have two really soon.
Soon.
It might be sometimes a few minutes ingestion delay, but typically in production this means nothing because I don't care if it's showing immediately or if it's showing in soon, because typically we have a lot of them, right? If you do, this is all from the same device. So yeah, that's how we can send in custom data. And I think that was it for the custom data stuff,
Yeah,
Sandy.
that's what is it. Yes. So the script itself is fairly simple. So we have the PR running on the machine, and the PR script itself is first getting those trusted device authentication things, like we getting the certificate of the machine, and then make sure that this machine has the managed, like having the Intune ID or Entra ID or device name. So these are the things that we use to verify if this machine is allowed to run this action against of the function app that input this data. So you don't want the people grab your script and run to a random machine and start sending information to your environment. So that's why we have this verification to checking if this machine or the machine belongs to tenant ID. So if this tenant ID is your tenant, so we check all those information. So that's the first part. So the second part is that the script will get all these device inventory or application inventory, or maybe blue screen information, for example, if you want to know. So get anything that you want from the machine itself, but of course not personal data, only the device related. And then you send this information as a JSON payload to trigger this function app. So the function app will using another script that what we just trying to show you. Then the function app itself will using this data and send this information go to the DCR, so the data collection rule. And then the data collection rule will have this rule to checking the data you send in and compare the columns and the data, the column type, the schema. So if this column called time generated, then it should be a datetime format, or maybe this has a value should be a string, then it will checking this column and schema. So the data rule will tell that is it this data allowed to send in to the log analytics itself. So you then you will filter out this kind of useless and not good data away. And then you have the data in log analytics workspace after that. So when you have the data yourself, then you can run KQL query to get the information you want, or maybe you can build a workbook as you wish. And in some scenario, some people might using this data to create Power BI report. Then that's something that you can do.
All right. So moving forward, I'm just going to, we already did this. I don't know why all of these are coming up. This should not be here.
That's just
The
screenshots show that
thing
how it
though,
looks like.
you can also use these queries to KQL queries can be used in comparison with Azure Monitor. So you can create your alerting rules. So you can use the audit logs, or you can use your inventory logs, or other items, and then you can create like queries that runs on a schedule to check for events, and then you can trigger automation based on those events again, sending emails, run a logic app, and so on and so forth. We just wanted to, there is some in the chats. Is there any time mode to collect data?
So
I'm not sure. If you run a remediation script on an endpoint, that needs to finish in 60 minutes.
Yeah, 60 minutes.
And besides that, I don't know if there is anything else you wondered, Oliver.
Okay. On the DC, there's no timeout. It's only the remediation
Yeah, so
script.
when you send the data to the DCR, it just poof, it goes in there. It goes into the pipeline, and it will go through to the end of the pipeline. So you don't need to have to think about that. If you have sent your payload to the DCR, you're good to go.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. We want to finish off this session by talk about some community solutions in this space. I know there was a question about Power BI. So Yannick Reinhardt, he has made a Power BI based on the Intune data warehouse. This is a few years old, but as far as I know, this still works. I have not tested it myself in a while, but it is there for you to look at. The other one we have is Trevor Jones, who has a also using log analytics and Power BI, managing HP updates. This is very specific for HP and looking at HP driver updates. But it's very, very cool and interesting solution. The other one is, how do you pronounce his name, Sandy?
I don't know. You grew. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't try.
No, Ugur has a GitHub repo with a lot of very cool stuff. Queries with copy and paste JSON codes. It's a lot of cool stuff. He has a lot of KQL, has some cool automations, and I really recommend having a look at his stuff. KQL Intune is where he has the that kind of stuff. And Sandy, we have Intune diff, which is also quite cool, where you can go and look at your environment. You can go to intunediff.com if you want. And in here you have two choices. The one is I am already logged in though. So let me log out and just show quickly. So here you have two different options. One is the offline JSON method, where you actually don't need to authenticate. You don't need to share any or consent to the app, consent for this application or anything. You just have your Intune configuration exported, and then you can upload them manually here. And then you will be able to use that to compare your policies versus, for instance, security baselines. But if you sign in, it's quite cool, because then you can also fetch your live policies. You can load your live policies in here, and I want to do the default baseline. I'm going to do the default security baseline for Windows 10, and later, yes. And then I want to do this, and I want to compare it with my device settings, system hardening, lock screen, game services, and scroll down, and I can click compare. And then, of course, this the more policies you pick, the more time it's going to take. but this is a really cool tool by Sandy. And if you have questions to this tool, you need to ask Sandy and not me, because I have no idea how this works. And then
good to
we
join,
have,
though.
at the end of the day, we also have this link thing. There's a lot of things in here, more KQL resources. And we also have, as I said, I put some stuff in the chat, some links. There are also, we have the GitHub, and we also have the audit dashboard that can be found here as well on our blog, which I also have linked to for you to look at when it comes to that. Whew. Any questions for the last couple of minutes?
Not in the chat.
Hello, Johan.
So for you, if your device are hybrid join and then not enrolled to Intune, you can have this kind of solution, making your own auditing tool to replace SCCM auditing tool.
If your device is not in Intune, there will be nothing in the Intune audit logs, typically.
Okay.
Because that is, but if you want to have your inventory thing, you can still do that even though your device is not in Intune, because you can install those scripts I talked about that collects from the endpoint using scheduled tasks. You can even run them from Config Manager if you want. But if you flick the button to have them co-manage at least, you can run remediations on them directly from Intune.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. I don't see any more questions here, so.
All right. As always, thank you, Jan, Sandy. This must be the 6th or 7th times you're joining us for this presentation, and unfortunately, in 3 hours, this is just scratching the surface. I hate to break that to you guys, but there is so much you can do. But we hope this will be an inspiration to you to see what's doable in the platform, to give you all these links and resources available, because Intune is definitely here to stay. This is where Microsoft is doing a lot of their investment, pretty much 97% of all the systems management investments goes into that platform and the related ecosystems. Config Manager don't get much love anymore.
They just changed back to a yearly cadence now.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
They did.
That's kind of,
yeah, I saw that yesterday too. I was like, okay.
That is a signal as well. Yeah.
We'll still be around, but I mean, as we mentioned a couple of times here, don't expect like 50 new features in every release, because that's not going to happen. It's more like bug fixes and security fixes at this point. But yeah, I mean, again, we hope that this will inspire you to start to test around and start to play around with the data that we can have in Intune or get from Intune, and also extend data when needed, and then of course visualize it nicely, managers and others. So Holly is asking there if you guys do any other classes on the Wildmonster Academy. We have been actually over the years running a 3-day masterclass on just reporting and graph. We had a discussion at MMS to maybe resurface that in 2026, but we haven't done any like the hard commitment to that just yet. But there is that ability. They also have been running our, of course, mobility trainings over the years, or mobility management through Intune. So that's what we have right now.
Yes, I think though, if maybe we should like get an interest form out there and see how many would be interested in resurfacing that other masterclass. Of course, with some changing it a little bit. I think that would be a good thing.
No, man, when we send out the survey, either Friday or Monday, depending when we send it out, I can put in a question I'll let the guys know.
Cool. And I just have to
Cool.
say thank you to everybody for listening to us for in total of 6 hours over these 2 days. My voice needs to relax now. Definitely.
Thank you both so much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. All right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.